Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. New SEC Chairman Gary Gensler is just going too far. Look, to be honest with you, and I didn't suppose a few months ago that I would necessarily be saying this. I always knew it was a possibility, but I was at least to some degree optimistic. But it really does seem that, I can't believe this is possible. It does seem, though, that Gary Gensler is worse than former SEC Chair Jay Clayton. It really does seem that way. Like Gary Gensler, you'll see as I go through this article, he is just attacking every aspect of crypto, and he, in particular, right now, a core focus right now is to go after exchanges. And it seems to me, and you'll see why I say this, it seems to me that he really firmly believes that every cryptocurrency exchange in the United States is not in compliance with SEC regulations, and it seems like he wants to come after all of them. I literally mean that. I know it sounds ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And so then you can think, okay, so if this is the general stance, what might his personal opinions be about Ripple and XRP right now? And look, I'll tell you this, I would not be as upset about some of what's going on. Some of it, some I still would, but I wouldn't be as upset with some of this if the SEC would provide some damn guidance for the industry. And if they'd state that the XRP that we hold in our wallets today is not a security, but that it could have been packaged and sold in such a way by Ripple in the past, if they were just making that argument, not that they'd even necessarily be right about that, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but I could handle that. If there's a path forward at least, that would be fine. But instead, it's let's just regulate by enforcement, not provide clarity, and just take a hammer to the entire space, because why the hell not? It's all about a power grab and money grab. That's exactly what it looks like to me. So I'm going to share with you the specifics of why I'm talking about this, and as well as share opinions from two attorneys within the XRP community who have already spoken out about this. But I do want to be clear at the outset, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say are right. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos, but it's purely a for fun hobby. Here's a headline from CNBC. SEC Chair Gary Gensler tells Senator Elizabeth Warren that the SEC needs more regulatory authority over crypto. And there you go. He wants even more power, which, frankly, a lot of this, his agency has no business with additional power. It's not related to what their core function is supposed to be. Now, you may recall that in early July, Senator Elizabeth Warren sent a public letter to Gary Gensler asking specific questions. And she requested that he write back. I thought she requested by the end of July, although he actually, as it turns out, he didn't write back until August. And we just found out about this today, by the way. But it's like you can't help but wonder, like, what's going on behind the scenes here. Like, I'm not one of these people that thinks that everything is carefully orchestrated. I don't give the politicians that much credit. I think they're mostly idiots. Now, in this case, though, they're like the way this all came out and how public it's been. It's just like, what a fine little song and dance. How much talk was there behind the scenes before any of these moves took place? I'm kind of left wondering. You don't know for sure, but I think it's reasonable to ask for reasons I've talked about previously on this channel. But here you go from July 8th, 2021. This is from the Senate.gov website. Warren asks SEC Chair Gensler about risks posed by cryptocurrency exchanges. And there are just a couple lines from this I want to lead. United States Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat, Massachusetts, chair of the Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee, Subcommittee on Economic Policy, sent a letter to the Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler requesting information about the agency's authority to regulate cryptocurrency exchanges and protect consumers from risks posed by the highly volatile cryptocurrency market. And so, sorry, there's a, I don't know if you heard, oh my God. I wish that I was on video right now. That clap you just heard, I just clapped a mosquito to death. I kid you not. This is the best day of my life. Suck it, mosquito. I tell you, I was laying in bed earlier this morning, and I had my eyes closed, and then I heard this little buzz behind my ears, like, whoa. And then I sat up, it startled me. I was like, what the hell? And then I saw a mosquito fly away. I just got that little punk-ass bitch. I just got him. This is the best day. All right, I'm not mad anymore. I don't care. Gary Gensler, you do your thing. This is good. Now I got like mosquito guts on my index finger, though. But you know what? That's okay. I'll wash my hands after I finish recording this latest Moon Lambeau hot jam. All right, best Moon Lambeau video ever. So now I kind of forgot what the hell I was saying, but I don't care. I'm elated at this point. Wow, that was unexpected. Anyway, so Gary Gensler, yeah. I really forgot. I'm so sorry, guys. I really forgot what I was saying now, but whatever. I do these videos in one take, so like, this is what's going on live. Like, that's just how this works. It's not as bad as the one time when my pet peeve, who is my 6-year-old terrier mix, one time she vomited while I was recording, and then I was like, well, I do these in one take, so I just left it in, because why not? It's like you could see it, though. I'm the one that had to see it. Good quality on the Moon Lambo channel. All right, so then the second part of this that I wanted to highlight was right down here. To better understand the SEC's existing tools to protect individuals who participate in crypto exchanges and evaluate the potential need for Congress to take action, the letter asks Chair Gensler to outline the ways in which cryptocurrency exchanges may be undermining the SEC's mission to ensure that markets are operating in a, quote, fair, orderly, and efficient manner. End quote. Whether the characteristics of assets traded on cryptocurrency exchanges may warrant additional protections for investors and consumers relative to those provided for traditional exchanges, the extent to which the SEC's authority to regulate crypto exchanges may differ from the SEC's authority to regulate traditional exchanges, the extent to which internal regulatory coordination may be needed, and the concerns decentralized finance may raise for the SEC's jurisdiction. And so as you'll see as I go through the next part that I'm going to run through here, it's basically just Gary Gensler saying, I want to be a dictator, because why the hell not? And it's not that I literally disagree with everything that he does or wants to do, but he's so far out of line with what's reasonable that I am not okay with this. And so I came across this thanks to, well, actually, I first saw it in my Twitter feed from attorney James K. Filan, a member of the XRP community, and he shared this from somebody named Ron Hammond, who is a director of government relations at Blockchain Association. And he wrote, Chair Gensler's response to Senator Warren is now public. Last week, Gensler mentioned he was putting together legislative proposals for Congress. In this letter, he states the legislative priority should center on crypto trading, lending, and DeFi platforms. Well, is that a surprise to anybody? And so here it is. Let's run through this thing. This is dated August 5th. So it's not brand new in that sense, but it was just released today. So in that sense, it is brand new. It's got that new release smell, which is mostly glue and chemicals, but I still like that. Dear Senator Warren, thank you for your July 7th, 2021 letter regarding the sufficiency of the Securities and Exchange Commission's authority to regulate crypto platforms. I appreciate and share your interest in ensuring investors are protected on these platforms. I recently spoke about these issues publicly. Right now, I believe investors using these platforms are not adequately protected. The world of crypto finance now has platforms where people can trade tokens and other venues where people can lend tokens. The American public is buying, selling, and lending crypto on these venues, both centralized and decentralized platforms. I believe these various platforms not only can implicate the securities laws, some platforms can also implicate the commodities laws and the banking laws. This raises a number of issues related to protecting investors and consumers guarding against illicit activity and ensuring financial stability. And so let me pause right there. You see, you know that it's Uncle Gary. He's just out to protect you because, you know, you don't know what the hell you're doing. Like, you can barely run your own life, right? You need all of these extra protections here. And look, I'm not against anything that they want to do to go against, like outright scams and stuff like that. People that are actually committing theft, stuff like, if there's anything that they can do that is under their purview, super duper, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give that 2 thumbs up. Fine. But it looks to me like he's just publicly stating, you'll see as I go further through this, you'll see. He's just making it known that he's about to sue the ever-loving hell out of every United States-based cryptocurrency exchange. That's what it looks like. He continues now. A typical trading platform, listen to this, a typical trading platform has more than 50 tokens on it. In fact, many have well in excess of 100 tokens. While each token's legal status depends on its own facts and circumstances, the probability is quite remote that, with 50 or 100 tokens, any given platform has 0 securities. I believe we have a crypto market now where many tokens may be unregistered securities without required disclosures or market oversight. So let me pause there. You may recall that Poloniex just got hit with such a claim and they ended up settling. I believe they paid, I reported on, I think the number is like $10.4 or $10.5 million, something like that. They ended up paying to settle. And nowhere did the SEC state which cryptocurrencies they sold that were securities. They just said you were doing it, and the exchange still settled. And so you gotta, can you imagine this? It's like, can you imagine like being charged with murder and then like they don't say who it is that you murdered? and then the only way to get out of this is to somehow magically settle. I guess you put murder. You kind of get what I'm saying. Like whatever it is, pick your crime. Here's the crime that you did, but who did I commit it against? They're not even naming it. You know, they're not saying which cryptocurrencies are the ones that are problems, and so they're adding to market confusion. It's incredible that they're doing this, and they've gotten away with it to this point, and it's so brazen the fact they think they can continue to get away with this. But we'll see to what degree justice ends up being done here. And then Gary continues. Certain rules related to crypto assets are well settled. The test to determine whether a crypto asset is a security is clear. No, it's not. He knows that is not true. He knows that is not true because it's not clear what constitutes a common enterprise, because we have technology that can shift from centralized to decentralized and vice versa, and there are not specific guidelines set so that we can tell very clearly which cryptocurrencies are currently centralized or decentralized, which would, again, impact whether or not there is a common enterprise, which is a prong of the Howey test. Gary is saying something he has to know is not true. He is not stupid. There is not clarity. And if there, I mean, like, if there were clarity, I still have to ask, why do you think it is the case that you're constantly getting participants in the space asking all sorts of questions about what they can and can't do and which cryptocurrencies are or are not securities? You don't have this problem in other asset classes. Gary Gensler is living in a fantasy land. And then he continues writing anyway. The SEC has taken and will continue to take our authorities as far as they go. Oh, right. Let me pause there again. Not just as far as they're allowed to go, beyond that. You're going beyond that, Gary. You're worse than Jay Clayton so far. Then he continues. Over the years, the SEC has brought dozens of actions in this area, prioritizing token-related cases involving fraud or other significant harm to investors. We haven't yet lost a case. Okay, pause again. He's a little cocky there, isn't he? Gary getting a little cocky about this? Okay, so there's been 75 cases. One is the Ripple case, right? I believe 75 is still the accurate number. So one's Ripple, and then 37 of the cases that he cites when he talks about this stuff, it's actually just companies that they're not offering any sort of securities. They're not offering any tokens. They're just somehow loosely related to the world of crypto and blockchain. That's it. And then the other 37 were ICOs. And so those, like, I would probably agree that, like, the vast majority of those ICO situations, yeah, those probably are against securities law. And if that's the case, then fine. But you still need a sufficient path forward. It doesn't mean that you get to not continue to not have a path forward. But the reason I want to cite that is, like, all of those cases are substantially different than what's happening with the SEC versus Ripple case, because there was no ICO with XRP. XRP existed before Ripple, the company, was created. It just simply is not the same. You know, like, XRP, think about it, fully functional, like no money needed to be raised in order to get a functioning blockchain. No money was raised. I mean, not from public investors. There could have been some VC stuff that we're not privy to, in which case, okay, fine, I don't care. Because, well, and the reason being, the VC stuff, that's been proven to this point to be non-problematic and not just in the world of crypto. It's just that once you open it up on exchange, something like that, selling unregistered securities, that's when it's a problem. But if you're funding a company that's going to do something in its venture capital, to this point at least, I haven't seen anything in the world of crypto where an approach like that is actually being challenged. But anyway, so then Gary continues. To the extent that there are securities on these trading platforms, under our laws, they have to register with the commission unless they meet an exemption. If a lending platform is offering securities, it also falls into SEC jurisdiction. Moreover, there are initiatives by a number of platforms to offer crypto tokens or other products that are priced off of the value of securities and operate like derivatives. It doesn't matter whether it's a stock token, a stable value token backed by securities, or any other virtual product that provides synthetic exposure to underlying securities. These products are subject to the securities laws and must work within our securities regime. I've urged staff to continue to protect investors in the case of unregistered sales of securities. Another issue has to do with stablecoins, which are crypto tokens pegged or linked to the value of fiat currencies. There is an existing stablecoin market worth $113 billion, including 4 large stablecoins, some of which have been around for 7 years. These stablecoins are embedded in crypto trading and lending platforms. To trade crypto to crypto, usually, somebody uses stablecoins. In July, nearly 3/4 of trading on all crypto trading platforms occurred between a stablecoin and some other token. The use of stablecoins on these platforms may facilitate those seeking to sidestep a host of public policy goals connected to our traditional banking and financial system, anti-money laundering, tax compliance, sanctions, and the like. Further, while many overseas platforms state they don't allow U.S. investors, there are allegations that some unregulated foreign exchanges facilitate trading by U.S. traders who are using virtual private networks, or VPNs for short. Further, you asked how assets traded on these platforms differ from those of assets traded on traditional securities exchanges, and which investor and consumer protections are warranted. Unlike other trading markets, where investors go through an intermediary, people can trade on crypto trading platforms without a broker, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from around the globe. I believe we need additional authorities to prevent transactions, products, and platforms from falling between regulatory cracks. We also need more resources to protect investors in the growing and volatile sector. In my view, the legislative priority should center on crypto trading, lending, and decentralized finance platforms. And so, let me pause right. Decentralized finance, I still do not see how the hell decentralized finance specifically could be under the purview of the SEC, which is supposed to be dealing with specifically securities. So decentralized finance, I mean, if there's some interesting way in which something can be packaged and it's still part of decentralized finance, bring the idea to my attention and maybe I'd agree with you. But in a general sense, like, how the hell does that make sense? Doesn't it just seem like Gary Gensler, living in the fantasy land that he is, being dictator Gary and just overreaching again? Doesn't it seem more like that? Then he writes, regulators would benefit from additional plenary authority to write rules for and attach guardrails to crypto trading and lending. We stand ready to work closely with Congress, the administration, our fellow regulators, and our partners around the world to close some of these gaps. Please do not hesitate to contact me or have a member of your staff contact Kevin Burris, Director of the Office of Legislative and Intergovernmental Affairs. And then he shares a number and it says, call if we can be of further assistance, and then he signs it. And I don't know about you, but his signature does not look like human letters. It's like gibberish. In fact, you know what that kind of looks like to me? I can't even say. I can't even say it on the Moon Lambo channel. It would be inappropriate. All right, here's what James K. Filan had to say. He is an attorney who is within the XRP community, so he doesn't work with Ripple, and he's not with the SEC. He wrote the following. And he said, Gary Gensler says, quote, certain rules related to crypto assets are well settled. The test to determine whether a crypto asset is a security is clear. The SEC has taken and will continue to take our authorities as far as they go, end quote. And then he has another quote here. This is from James K. Filan. Then he makes a point. A typical trading platform has more than 50 tokens on it. In fact, many have well in excess of 100 tokens. While each token's legal status depends on its own facts and circumstances, the probability is quite remote that, with 50 or 100 tokens, any given platform has zero securities, end quote. And so James K. Filan wrote the following. It should now be clear that Gary Gensler wants to rule over the entire crypto asset space. And then he thanked Ron, that guy I was talking about earlier, who shared this information. And he said, and then he noted also that Gary Gensler wrote that we haven't yet lost a case. So it's a little brazen there, but it's easy. I mean, if you're talking about ICOs, yeah. And plus you're going after all these companies that I don't think are well funded to like handle the financial onslaught that occurs when the SEC comes after. So I'm not surprised. And he says won them too. Like a lot of these are settlements, and he's counting those as wins. So just to be clear. But yes, and so it's very clear. He says that it's very unlikely that there's a cryptocurrency exchange in the United States that is not in violation of securities laws. That's what he's saying right now. He's going to come after all of them. And it's not clear which cryptocurrencies are problematic. It's not that all of these exchanges are trying to skirt the system, but he's acting like if they're in violation, that's exactly what they're intentionally doing. That's the argument that they're making. It's disgusting and repulsive, and Gary Gensler has to know this, but he doesn't give a damn. He is worse than that asshat, Jay Clayton, to this point at least. Attorney Jesse Hines wrote the following. Doesn't appear that the SEC wants Congress to provide a test clarifying what makes a digital asset a security. They believe a test created in 1946 is sufficient. Don't get me wrong, I think there should be more regulation in the trading space, but classification is pertinent. Yeah, I firmly agree with that. You guys let me know what you think, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo.